You'll never feel qualified to start, and that's why you need to start anyways. You only feel unqualified because you're waiting for a moment that does not exist. Most people delay posting online, starting a business, or going for that job because they're waiting for an internal green light. But clarity never arrives ahead of time because fear and uncertainty will always be a part of the starting conditions. So you assume something's wrong with you when really you're just feeling what everyone feels at the beginning. You're not unqualified, you're just waiting for permission no one is ever going to give you. In reality, the silent cost of waiting to feel ready is that nothing actually changes. Every day you hesitate, you reinforce the identity of someone who does not start. Hesitation becomes a habit, and the habit becomes your default. The longer you wait, the stronger the story becomes that possibly you were never capable in the first place, which is not true. Waiting costs you momentum, and eventually it costs you identity. I've lived this pattern long enough to know exactly where it leads. After graduating, I thought clarity would just show up and guide me to the next step. Instead, I fell into the same loop of waiting, planning, and second guessing, and ultimately feeling lost. I wanted to create content and build a business, but I kept thinking I needed to get direction first. What I learned is that direction does not just come before action, it comes as a result of action. I realized that the only way out is to build repeatable habits and systems that make execution unavoidable. Not a burst of motivation, not a perfect plan, a structure that forces motion even when I feel confused or unqualified. Right now, I'm still in this grounding stage. I'm pushing myself to tread new waters, and I'm still figuring it out. This is the fight right now that I'm in, but no longer will I sit in stillness, and this realization alone has begun to change my perspective and how I operate. The bottom line is that the path does not just appear. You have to move first. The belief that you must earn the right to begin is the biggest lie internalized. People treat starting like it required certification. It does not. No one completed a checklist before sending their first tweet, posting their first video, or building their first business. Those rules were invented after the fact, not before. You are playing by standards that do not actually exist. And I have a question for you. Aren't you the one that sets the standards? Starting becomes very simple when you follow a structure that does not rely on confidence or your motivation. So I'll give you the 3-move start. First, choose the smallest possible action that requires zero permission. Do it before you have any time to negotiate with yourself. And if not now, then schedule it and make the intention to do that. And the third, treat the outcome as information instead of judgment. Once you stop trying to be ready and start trying to gather data, the emotional pressure drops. Starting becomes very easy when you treat it like information gathering instead of self-evaluation. This process does not just change what you do, it changes who you become. Once you start to stack these small actions, your brain updates its sense of self and who you are. Consistency becomes evidence, and evidence becomes identity. You stop behaving like someone who is thinking about starting, and you become someone who acts. Identity stops being a wish and becomes a pattern, and you ultimately change your trajectory. If you ever feel stuck, your next move is to pick and do one tiny action today, whether that be posting a sentence, send out a message, or make an apply to a job in your field without any expectation. It must be small enough that you cannot talk yourself out of it, but real enough so that it creates evidence. One action is enough to break the illusion that you're not ready. The thing is, you are never supposed to feel qualified. You're supposed to become qualified by moving. There's no moment when all the fear just disappears and clarity just arrives. Everything you think you are missing appears after you begin. The path reveals itself only while you're walking. So start now, let reality teach you, and never again let the feeling of being unqualified decide your future. Take this as a permission to start now.